You never know. The blessing that you thought was solely for you may actually be more for someone else than even yourself. Hi, this is Barry Phillips with 10-Minute Torah, Day 2 of V'zot haBracha. Let's go back to Deuteronomy chapter 33, this time reading verse 6 and 7. Let Reuben live and not die, and let his men be numbered. This of Yehuda, and he said, Hear, Yahweh, the voice of Yehuda, and bring him to his people. His hands shall fight for him, and you be a help against his enemies. We begin with Reuben here. The original character of Reuben is not well respected. He had several blunders in his life. And though the firstborn and supposedly the first strength of Yaakov, he really struggled to meet up to expectations. He had a way of just setting a trap for himself and falling in it. I mean, he moved his father's bed, whether that means that he went up to one of his father's concubines and slept with her, or whether that means that he moved his mother Leah's bed into Rachel's tent after Rachel died to say to his father, you have to promote her now as your primary bride. Telling Yaakov, if I go down to get, or with Benjamin, and if I fail to bring him back, just kill my two boys. Not good wisdom here. It also seems then that he failed in his leadership capacity. He should have been a quality leader. He wasn't. And a noble gesture as Israel is going into the land when he and Gad determined that they want to settle on the opposite side of the Jordan, on the eastern side, choosing great grazing lands for their flocks and herds. He volunteers along with Gad, look, we'll go out in front of our brothers, we'll bring them into our inheritance, and then we'll come home to our own families. Being on the front line of any battle formation means you're at highest risk. And it's not that we should imagine that when the armies of Israel went in to conquer the land, that not a man of them ever died. This is hand-to-hand combat and fierce warfare. Certainly, there would have been men of Israel who died trying to take their inheritance. Reuben says, I'll go first. So Moshe seems to bless him with a prophetic call to life and not death, that there would be a supernatural sense of guard and protection upon him, and that there would be a numbering of his men, that is, that they would increase in their numbers or maintain their numbers. And so there is an understanding then we should draw from this, that as we walk in the Spirit, as we continue into last days realities, as they began to manifest themselves and unfold, not everybody comes out smelling like a rose. Not everybody's going to endure to the end. Not everybody is going to have a positive report. Yeshua warned us of this in Matthew 24. As you read through that chapter, you will find that there are those that will grow cold in their love, and there are those that will betray one another, and there will be those that will fall away or go after a false Messiah. And he warned us, of these things. That being said, we should understand there are those that we look around, we see, and we count them every gathering, or we count them among our numbers, and they may not endure to the end. So may this blessing come upon us that we live and not die, and that we maintain our numbers, and that is that we remain strong. Now, when we come to Yehuda here, there's an interesting unstated portion that is included. Now, how's that possible? It's a hint. He says, and this of Yehuda, and he said, Hear, Yahweh. There is a tribe that as you read through this list, they are not included. He does not bless all other tribes. He leaves out Shimeon Shimeon, he is not mentioned. And his name meaning hear or to hear or hearing, he is hinted at here. During the trial of Baal Peor, when the men of Israel were being seduced by the women of Midian and Moab to come and to feast with them, party with them, and then bow down before this false god, there were those that did so, and a plague broke out. The tribe that numerically in the census seems to be most affected is the tribe of Shimeon. It would seem then that Zimri, a tribal leader of the tribe of Simeon, was the one that brought Cosbi into the camp, and that Pincus rose up with a spear and slew both of them. And so we understand then that the Shimeonites, they didn't do too well. The namesake of their tribe, Yaakov's son, he is a hothead. He partners with Levi and goes in to Shechem, and he wipes out all the men in the town. He is one that is vicious against Joseph, and Joseph, out of all the brothers, chooses him to be put in prison while the rest of the brothers go back home. He's an unstable hothead by all calculations, and he seems to press the boundaries. And as such, he's not included here, but his tribal allotment is found inside the boundaries of Yehuda. So Yah gives Yehuda a significant portion, inside of which is Shimeon, who is then landlocked and included more with Yehuda than just being in the middle of him. It's like he's being absorbed into this other brother. Therefore, Yah says of Yehuda, let him hear. Yehuda is the prince of tribes. You let Yehuda go first. Positioned on the east side of the camp, you go through this tribe to get into the tabernacle. The sovereign will come from Yehuda. He is a promoted part of Israel. Wonderful. But he can't stand alone. He needs some help. And in that regard, there is Shimeon in his midst to provide the hearing. Now, if Shimeon is a hothead and given to emotional choices, do we really want to listen to what he's hearing? Now is the blessing, another blessing, in that Yehuda seems to be able to temper Shimeon. We are at times given a blessing, a calling, a placing, a situating in his kingdom and in his body. And we think it's about us and our capabilities and what it is that we do. Included along with it, there may be the nameless ones, the unseen ones, those that do not stand out, that are included along with, and they add a unseen, unknown quality to that which we have, and then we in turn provide a blessing to them. In other words, mutual benefactors in the body. You never know that where you're placed, while you see that it is for you to act and serve in a certain capacity, you never know. There may be, in your estimation, an unqualified, maybe even undignified individual or group. And you think, why are they even here? They're there to help you. And you're there to serve and to help them. I don't understand how it is that Yah puts partnerships together. I don't know how he sees qualities that will mesh and work, sometimes with enough friction between the two to make them hold on together. In other words, don't write anybody off. Look and see how it is that you might be able to serve them and they serve you. And I'll see you again tomorrow. Till then, shalom.